Okay, this is KP4MD. Does anybody copy me?
KP4MD and R6H, you sound good.
Okay, thank you. I just got off the 10-meter net and I had to do a quick change, a bunch of audio and everything to get this thing going on the YouTube, and I guess we're live streaming right now. Very good. Thank you very much. I suspect there probably isn't a person going to do net control. Is there? Over. Okay, it's KP4MD. I'll go ahead and do my octopus arms here and bring up the, go ahead and get the script for this. This is KP4MD. Yeah, I have to do this really, really quick here in just a question of 2 minutes. And let's see, where is that? Okay, here we go. Good evening, this is Carol, Kilopop 4 Mike Delta Unit Control Operator for River City Amateur Radio Communications Society Slow Scan Television Net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA repeater on 441.30 megahertz and on our YouTube channel. River City ARCS members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact net control by saying break break. Double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until emergency is terminated or the traffic move to another frequency. Okay, those stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before I continue. Any station who wishes to check into the net, please come now.
And R6H, this is Anders in Folsom.
N6YG, George and Lincoln.
Kilo 6 Alpha Victor Bravo, Jacob in Auburn.
November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec, Bob in Northwest Roswell.
Kilo Romeo 6, Romeo Alpha Oscar, Kishore and El Dorado Hills.
Okay, I have November Romeo 6 Hotel, Anders. November 6 Yankee Golf, George. Kilo 6 Alpha Victor Bravo, I believe that's Jacob. November 6 Papa Golf, Quebec, Bob. Kilo Romeo 6 Romeo Alpha Oscar, Kishore. And I've got myself, Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta. And don't see I don't have anybody on the live chat yet on the YouTube channel. So very good. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Final call. Any other check-ins?
November 6 Hotel Alpha, Bill in Roselle.
Okay, number 6. You're actually number 7, Bill. November 6 Hotel Alpha. We got you on the list. Very good. Any other check-ins? Okay, nothing heard. We're going to start at the top there. Anders, since you checked in first, you get your first shot at sending your picture. If you're ready, we're ready to receive. Over.
All right, thanks so much. I am on all new hardware, so to me, so I'm going to send a tone, see if that works.
Yes, your tone is loud and clear. Over.
All right, then let's go with the PD 120.
Okay, Anders, that picture came through very well here. And wow, it's very, very interesting, the kind of stuff I like to do. Actually, I have a name for this diagnosis. I call it inductophilia, which is an obsession with winding coils. And uh, they look very well round. So we'll just see uh, for comments. We'll start down the list here. November 6th, Yankee Golf. What do you think about these pictures, and how did you receive them, George? Over.
Carol, send it to someone else. I'm coughing a little bit too much to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. You just go ahead and watch then and enjoy. Over to you, Jacob. K6AVB.
Yeah, this looks like something I like to do. Make coils. I guess that's a field strength meter, perhaps, in the middle. But these look like common mode current balance. But I can't tell if they're just a couple of toroids stacked together, or if perhaps these are one-to-one chokes that are paired with a transformer of some kind. But yeah, they look very nice, very well wound, and I would be very happy if that was my work. Back to you, K6AVB.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Jacob. How about you, Bob? What do you say? November 6th, Papa Golf, Quebec. How'd you copy the picture, and what do you think of it? Over.
Well, the picture quality is quite good. You can hear a few pixel pops, but they're not real evident in the picture. Good quality. I really like the captioning on this NR6H. Has really got it down. So maybe he could give a talk sometime at a radio club meeting on how he manages to combine the two. Anyway, it looks like somebody has done a really, really nice job winding toroids. Looks like the ones on the end, are for possibly dipole, or maybe connected to a ladder line, and the one in the second to the left has UHF connectors on it, and then has a micro ammeter. So anyway, good quality, N6 PGQ.
Comment.
Yes, please comment. Please go ahead.
KI1TTY joining in.
Oh, okay, Jen. Did you have a particular comment about this picture? Over.
I got in a little too late, so I only got a corner of it, but just let you know I'm here and joining in.
That is great. I'm glad to see you back on Slow Scan. It's been a while. I do appreciate you joining us. Well, I'm going to just throw my 2 cents in. It looks like the one on the left is probably a 4-to-1 current balun. I've seen those before. They use 2 toroids. And the one next to it is probably a 1-to-1 current balun. I'm guessing the meter looks like it says microamps on it, and I'm not sure if that's being used as some kind of a field strength meter or something else, but it looks like it has a little connector on top there, or I'm not sure if that's a control, like it could be a potentiometer or perhaps something like a little SMA connector pointing up the top of that meter. And then the one on the right is curious. It looks like it's got a BNC on the bottom, and then there's 2 wires on the top side, and I don't know if there's a capacitor in there. If there is, that might be one of those 49-to-1 type of transformers for an NFET. I'm just guessing. So over to you, please, Anders, and tell us what you got. And you've got excellent skills if you put these together. I love them. Yeah, he's talking into a dead microphone.
And I just realized that I had no audio.
I'm not hearing anything.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. This is KI1TTY.
I am so sorry, and I'll do it really fast then. So up top is a 4-to-1. Carol was absolutely right. Also, I want to say that I met Carol enough times to catch a really bad case of inductophilia. I had definitely have that. This is all this weekend's work. I did all this last weekend. The next one over is a choke, a 1-to-1 choke with just two SO connectors, one end in each end, and then I realized that I could build them this way on a piece of ABS plastic that just bend up. That way I have kind of free boxes and have direct access to all the stuff inside, and then I put a shrink tube around it. So give the inductor a little bit of protection. That one, the second one from the left, actually has really good performance. It's like a 30 dB attenuation on common mode across 1 to 30 megahertz. So it's actually really good. And then the one down on the right is a balun, a 1-to-1 balun with an SO connector at the bottom, and then just a balanced wing nuts, two wing nuts up top. Finally, the box in the middle is a current meter meant to measure current on a coax. So the idea there was to see if I could, instead of using an antenna, just a tester, measure the actual current that comes back on the shield of the coax. So up top is actually a clamp-on choke, just one of those snap-on chokes with a few laps of thin wire to make that a transformer, and then I'm just rectifying that into the meter. So the pot there is just to save the meter from the full current, so I can adjust the sensitivity of it. So that's what you see. Sorry about being silent in the beginning there. Too many buttons, too many things to click at here, learning this radio or this whole system. But yeah, thanks for listening. Back to net N6NA.
Yeah, NR6H. You know, we were just so tantalized with your dead microphone. Actually, I typed on YouTube. I was hoping you were watching on YouTube that your microphone was dead, and I knew you had quite a juicy description, just like you gave now, more briefly. I have a question. You know, some people when they wind these current chokes, they actually use like a thin type of coaxial cable winding on the on the toroid, and some people use the two wires, you know, parallel something like speaker wire or something equivalent to that with enameled wire. So it looks like you did the latter. I was wondering if you could explain exactly what kind of wire you have on those toroids, and are those the 2-inch toroids? It looked like they're 2 inches over.
So yeah, I use just enamel wire. This is, I believe, 18 gauge on all of these, maybe 16. Actually, 16 gauge wire on all of these. And yeah, I just use enamel wire, just pair them up and keep them straight the whole way around so that I can get them parallel. Make sure that when I'm done cutting both ends and measuring that I didn't cross over anywhere. So that's what I do. It keeps it a little cleaner, I think. I have this idea that getting closer to the material is a good thing, so having the thin enamel between the conductor and the ferrite seems like a good thing, just keeping everything really tight and really neat. Yeah, that's oh yeah, and the size of the toroids, the ones on the left, the double one up there, the 4-to-1, those are 140s. And the other two are actually slightly bigger. I don't remember the number of those. They're not 240s, but they're in between. So they actually have almost the same mass as a 240. So they should be able to handle a similar current or similar power as a 240. So that's it. And R6H.
Okay, very good. Yeah, the one that I use on my HF, the one going to my loop is I have two of the FT240s stacked, yeah, because I run 500 watts to them, and they don't overheat at all. What is the mix on those? I use the mix 43. Which one do you use?
Yeah, all of these are 43s, so that's everything I use for these chokes. I guess the chokes could also be 61. 1-to-1s could be 61 mix, but 43 has worked really well for me, so that's what I'm using.
Oh, wonderful. I love this. Anybody else have any comments or questions about this before we go to the next picture?
AE6JG checking in.
I have a comment, N6YG.
Okay, acknowledging James, and go ahead, George.
See if we can get through this. Just for informational purposes, there's a website, G3TXQ, Golf 3 Tango X-Ray Quebec. He's done a lot of work with toroids and chokes. So there's a lot of good information there on reactive impedance and resistive impedance and so on. So that's just kind of what I wanted to add if anybody is interested in this sort of thing. We used to 3M makes some really good fiberglass tape. It acts as a good insulator. We used to wrap that around the toroids before winding them for higher power applications. All right, so back to net N6YG.
Okay, thank you very much for that, George. Yeah, this is one of my pet projects, winding toroids. And they are your friend. They can be your best friend to eliminate that common mode current that causes so much trouble. George, I think I'm not sure if you wanted to send a picture. You're certainly welcome to do so if you're up to it. This is KP4MD.
Yeah, I seem to have momentarily recovered. I was having a coughing fit just a minute ago. Anyways, yeah, I've been sick for about 2 weeks now. So everybody's trying to get me to go to the doctor. They think I have walking pneumonia, but whatever. All right. So I do have an image to send, and I will send it now, N6YG.
Okay, thank you very much for that picture. And I'm going to go over to Kishore, KR6RAO. How did you receive that? And what's your comment on it? Over.
Yeah, this is Kishore, KR6RAO. The picture came through really well, and I love the picture. It took me a little bit to realize that it's a rock band all made with electronic parts. It's very creative, and George, if you did it, that's awesome. It looks really, really well. No pixel pops as well. I can see maybe one or two at the top, but also like to learn how you put your call sign and the N6NA SSTV Net at the bottom. Back to that.
Okay, thank you very much, Kishore. Yeah, I meant to tell you also, George. You've got SSTY. I think you can correct that sometime in the future. But you've sent several of these pictures saying SSTY. And Craig, WP2N. Just typed in our live chat, awesome nitty gritty dirt band. Haha, this is WP2N from Louisiana. Very good. Over to, I guess I'm the one who's supposed to comment on this next. Yep, very, very impressive. A lot of, I see some snare drums that are electrolytic capacitors. Can't tell exactly what all the guitars are. Resistors for legs, LEDs for heads, and I guess the boom box there is something stacked up there. It looks kind of squarish, and looks like a surface mount component there is the keyboard, and it's all on top of a PC board. I'm not sure what the bass drum is there. It looks like maybe another type of electrolytic capacitor. And then there's in the background there's a wire like in a semicircle with a ceramic disc hanging down from it. That must be the gong. So over to you, George, if you'd like to explain to us what this picture is. Over to you.
I wish I could take credit for that. Very creative. I found that on the internet. I don't remember how long ago, and so I've been saving it. But it's very cool, and thank you for noticing that again. You know what happens is I correct this, and then I forget to drag it down and save it back into the templates. So since you mentioned that, I am going to save that template now, so I don't send that again. It's actually MR92. I think I sent a different mode on top. And there should be on these templates, you can make these templates up in the template creator right there on the last tab. And if you right click on the tab or click on the tab and right click in the window, you can select all sorts of tools and for the text and the shading, and there's a ton of tools in here for creating really neat templates with all sorts of macros. So like where it says, where it should say MR90, there's actually a macro that you can insert there that'll automatically change when you change the mode that you're sending in. So it's pretty cool. So with that, I'm going to send it back to Ned. N6YG.
Okay, thank you again for that, George. Very entertaining. We do like to have a little bit of music on our net evenings here. Thank you very much for doing that. Little eine kleine Nachtmusik, as they say. Over to you. Let's see, Jacob, K6AVB. Do you have a picture to share? Over.
Yeah, Jacob here, K6AVB, and I'm ready to go.
Okay, okay, very good. Thank you very much for sending that picture. We're tantalizing Kishore with all of these customized um, templates, and yeah, what George said, you can customize these. I think there's some YouTube videos that explain how to do that, and if you really need some one-on-one coaching on that, I'm sure somebody here can help you with that if you like. Bill, November 6 Hotel Alpha, how did you receive this picture and what do you think it is? Over.
Yeah, pretty good reception here. A few pixel pops, but nothing crazy. Looks like you're activating in a park. I see in the background a car and a red line that looks like a parking spot and a sidewalk. This looks like a residential garbage can, though, so maybe you're in your front yard. And in the forefront is the IC7000, great radio. I have one also. And so mine overheats, though. I think Jacob's is better than mine. And then he has the Bionetto battery, it looks like, with some fuses connected to it, probably to the radio. And he has it all in a blue blanket. There's a backpack there. I see his microphone and an external speaker, which is always great, and his Gatorade. The whole thing's sponsored by Gatorade, so that's a first-hand sponsorship. So yeah, I wonder if they're activating a park or just playing outside, having some fun in the sun. Anyways, back to N6HA.
Hey, thank you very much for that, Bill. How about you, Jen? How are you doing with slow scan? Did you receive this picture and your comments? Over.
KP4MD, KI122Y. I had lots of pixel pops on mine, but everything there described already, so I won't add anything to that. But for picture quality, I had quite a few pixel pops on mine. Back to Carol.
Yeah, I received quite a few pixel pops too, and you can see on the YouTube. I think perhaps Jacob just has his signal into the repeater may be just a little weaker than some of the previous pictures. So Jacob, please give us an explanation of what this is. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, my signal tonight, I took down my 70-centimeter antenna that was outdoors, and I forgot to put it back up. So I just grabbed my little 3-element Yagi, and I'm using it indoors. So that's why my signal's not so great tonight. But I was down at McBean Park on Sunday, and I took about an hour to test a couple antennas, and I made some improvements to my 49-to-1. So I have it, if you look in the top right corner, there's a little white kind of blur. That's actually the transformer, and then the antenna goes up and off to the right from there. And it's 33 feet of wire, so it works really well for 20 meters and 10 meters. And I actually get around an average of 1.5 to 1 across the whole band for both bands, and there's some better areas, of course. So it's quickly become my favorite antenna because I set it up, and as you can see, no tuner. Everything that I'm using is right there, so just radio, battery, external speaker, and the antenna, and I'm on the air. And it works really, really well. My first few contacts were great DX contacts, Brazil, Venezuela, and so on. So that was really cool. Anyways, everybody hit the nail on the head except the battery is Red Odo, and not sponsored by Gatorade, K6AVB.
Yeah, thank you very much for that explanation, Jacob. Anybody else have any questions or comments about this picture before we move on?
Yeah, I have a comment.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, George.
Well, not necessarily about the picture, although I did come over. I do have some pixel pops, but it looks good. I have that radio as well, good portable radio. I just wanted to let everybody know that the website is up and running again, NSSTV.com. So if you want to see what your images look like as I receive them here, you can go to that website and see that. You have to do a manual refresh, Control F5, to see the next picture, because it's still a work in progress. So, N6YG.
comment?
Go ahead, Com.
Yeah, just one last thing I'll mention is I'm on a Mac and I'm using Black Cat SSTV, and it seems to be working really well for me. So if anybody's stuck with a Mac and you're looking for an SST program, you might try it, Black Cat. Anyways, back to you, K6AVB.
Well, thank you very much, Jacob. This was very educational. I didn't recognize that as an ICOM. I thought it was a Yaesu. But now I know it's an ICOM IC7000. Thank you very much for that. Looks like people are having a lot of fun now that spring has sprung, and going out and enjoying the stopping to smell the roses and do some operating out on the grass. That's awesome. We're going to go ahead and proceed now with Bob, N6PGQ. If you have a picture for us, you can proceed, please. Over.
Okay, let me make sure I have tone because I just now noticed I had not turned my signaling on, so let's give it a shot.
Yep, you're good to go.
Okay, very good. Well, I think I need to get out of the house more, but we'll go with this picture, N6PGQ.
Very, very interesting. I love historical pictures and challenges to identify what this is. So we're going to go next to James, A6JG. How did you copy this, and what do you think of it? Over.
I'm looking at it on the computer because for some reason I'm not receiving. I'm guessing I won't be able to transmit, but we'll test that when we get to it. So from what I see on the YouTube feed, that is very cool. And it looks like the cover of a music sheet, like piano music or something. You see the eagle on top, those great colors. It came through really well. Yeah, I'm interested to hear where Bob found this. We know he never gets out, so he gets to rattle around the house and find cool things. Back to you, Carol, AE6JG.
Aha, very good. And I'm going to go back to the top of the list. Anders, I think you probably can identify who these allies are and from what time period this is, being that you're probably up on your European history there. November Romeo 6 Hotel, what do you say? Over?
Well, history is definitely not my strong suit, so not going to comment on that. Looks like James said, either front of a sheet music or maybe a sleeve of a 70, what is it, 78 RPM record. Maybe that's what it is. Hoping that it would be an actual record and not sheet music. But maybe either way, it looks cool, and love to hear where it came from. And R6H, back to net.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to take a guess because I do love history, and I recognize the Great Britain flag to the left of the United States shield there, and to the left of that, I think that's the, I'm not sure what flag that is, if that's Belgium, but then the one to the left of that looks like an Italian flag from before, that's when they actually used to have a king in Italy, and that must have been during the Great War. I'm guessing it's from World War I. And you also see what looks like on the right side a Japanese flag, and Japan was one of the allies in that war as well. So I'm just guessing that's what it's from. So over to you, Bob, and maybe you can enlighten us what this is. N6PGQ KP for MD.
Okay, well, the source is our living room. So this is a G. Schirmer publication of piano music for the national anthems of the Allies, and it was copyright 1917. The Allies' anthems were from the United States, Great Britain, France, Belgium, Russia, Japan, Serbia, Italy, Romania, Portugal, and Cuba, and those are their flags at the top. And they have little stories about who composed the music and what czar chose the music for Russia. It's a pretty interesting little piece of music. Anyway, N6PGQ.
Well, thank you for sharing that little piece of history. I just love those kind of challenges. Thank you very much for that, Bob. Any other comments on this picture before we move on? Okay, nothing heard. This is Kilo Papa for Mike Delta again with the River City Arc Slow Scan Television Net. And next in line here is Kishore, Kilo Romeo 6, Romeo Alpha Oscar. We're ready for your picture.
Yeah, let me go ahead and try a tone, KR6RAO.
Yes, good tone. Go ahead.
Okay, KR6RAO with a PD 120.
Okay, well, this picture has me stumped, but we're going to go over to George. What do you think of this picture, N6YG, and how did you receive it?
See if we can find the microphone and blow this picture up. I am not sure. To me, it looks like an image that got split halfway through. So who sent this? No, I have no idea. I'm going to send it back to Net N6YG. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not feeling real well.
Okay, well, Charlie on our live chat says, is this a Vegas sphere? Kind of looks some kind of a collage or something, like a little snow globe or something, and superimposed on something else. It's strange. Anyway, Jacob, what do you make of this picture? K6AVB, over?
Yeah. Well, reception was pretty good. The header was kind of blurry, but other than that, everything else came through really well. It looks to me like the surface is some kind of soundboard, or maybe it's like a cityscape made out of like small miniature pieces or something. But it kind of looks like there's some kind of cityscape going on with like Legos or something. Not really Legos, but it could be some kind of game board. And then I would guess a snow globe also, like a lit up snow globe with perhaps a picture that is being lit up that's kind of in the snow globe, like one of those touristy type of souvenir items where you slide the picture up inside the snow globe. That's my best guess. I kind of see like a window in the background, so I'm guessing it was taken like in a dark room. The picture with a light under the snow globe with maybe a vacation picture in it. K6AVB.
Okay, well, Kishore, you got us stumped on this. Can you please explain to us what this very interesting picture is? Over.
Yeah, this is Kishore, KR6RAO. I think most of you got pieces of the puzzle. I think the YouTube viewer actually hit the nail on the head. This is the Sphere in Las Vegas. It's basically a massive building. You can Google it. And it has, I think, thousands and thousands of LEDs which project pictures on it from the inside, and you can view it. So this is actually from a hotel room window. So I think Bob is right about taken from inside a room. So this is a hotel room window. In the foreground, you see actually it's a rooftop of the hotel with air conditioning and other utilities. And this massive globe in the back is massive. And you see the lights on the side, on the left, and the right of it is actually buildings of Las Vegas skyline. So, and it's an amazing sight. I couldn't get to go inside and see it. Heard it's a good show, but I thought it would be an intriguing picture to chat about. You guys got most of it. Back to Net.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Wow, that is, I tell you, Las Vegas has a lot of these absolutely outlandish, extravagant type of displays. Do we have any further comments on this before we proceed?
The N6PGQ. Yeah, the Sphere is amazing on the outside, but even more on the inside. They have a couple of shows every day, and you, I guess, have to see it to believe it. The whole inside also is covered in LEDs and put on a good show. There have been a few concerts there, and other venues have used it. But it's an experience, if you go to Las Vegas, from what I hear, that you need to not miss N6PGQ.
Okay, wow, it's been a few decades that I haven't been to Las Vegas, and maybe I'm going to have to go and see this stuff here pretty soon. Thank you very much for sharing that. I've got a picture. Going to go ahead and send it. This is going to be PD120. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Bob, N6PGQ. How did you get this picture and what do you think of it? Over.
Well, the quality is very good. Few pixel pops here and there. This is a close-up of something. We've got a series of connectors that are soldered onto different colored wires, and I really don't know what the thing in the right corner is on the plate. I don't know. It does not look like a cat's whisker because it's rounded, unless I'm guessing wrong. But it looks like the inside of something that Carol's building, so I'll be interested to know what it is. N6PGQ.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Next in line is Kishore, Kilo Romeo 6 RAO. What do you think of this picture and how did you receive it? Over.
Yeah, this is KR6RAO. Received pretty good. It's a really good, clear picture. I have no clue as to what it is, but I'm held to guess, like Bob mentioned, it's probably something, Carol, you're building. Looks like perhaps a base of an antenna situation, perhaps, but you got some grounding going on there too. I'm clueless. Over. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. This is actually one of the very first kits that I ever built back in the 1960s. It was put up by Allied Radio, a company called Night Kit, and this is the inside of a pickup unit for an SWR meter. And I was working on this earlier this week. I was having some problems with operating on 440 or on 2 meters. If I was using over like 20 watts of power, the meter, the forward power meter would go up to the top and then it would start dropping off, going down to zero just after a few seconds, although the actual transmitter power was constant. And I took a look at the circuit. This is actually what's called the Monty match, and I think George is probably familiar with that. It's pretty much the basis of all the little CB SWR bridges that they sell out there. Um, the underneath that plate is I think it's like a 5-inch piece of copper tubing that goes from one end of the box to the other, and then there's an SO239 on each end. So it's like a piece of transmission line, and parallel, separated by maybe about half an inch on the left and the right of that big piece of copper tubing. There's some wires that are parallel, and those are the pickup wires. And on one end you have a resistor of that wire going to ground, and the other end you have this little diode that is a rectifier that's picking up the power. So one diode rectifies the forward, and the other rectifies the reverse power. So the terminal strip that you see up there, it's a what do they call those things? 3-contact terminal strip. The center is ground. That goes to the ground lug, the mounting screw. And then the one side, the one on the right there, has a diode. Actually, that's a replacement diode. The original diode in there was a germanium point contact diode, what's called a 1N34, which was very common back there in the 60s. This thing is like 60 years old. And then they had for a bypass capacitor, they had a ceramic disc from that terminal strip point there to the center one, which is the ground. And it was a 0.001 microfarad, which is 1,000 picofarads. And the thing about those capacitors is they often have a self-resonant frequency somewhere around 100 megahertz. And this pickup unit is rated supposedly to go up to 432 megahertz. So I decided to replace that, and that little brown thing that's screwed into the plate is a replacement capacitor. It's called a button capacitor. Let me drop it a moment. And a button capacitor is superior to the leaded ceramic disc, because the lead inductance of a ceramic disc is very significant at those frequencies, and the button capacitor has practically no lead length. So it's just mounted with a bolt that goes straight into the ground plate there, and then it's got this one tab on the top which is connected to the positive end of that diode, and that replacement diode is a Schottky diode. I sent away for a pack of 10 of those. It was 50 of those for $10, and I was actually able to go through them all with my little Mega 378 component tester and get 2 of them that matched exactly when the forward voltage dropped. So the thing is working like a charm now after I made that replace those diodes with the Schottky diodes, which were balanced. The original diodes were not balanced, and these little capacitors I just happen to have in my junk box. So I got a question from KO6DRM. What slow scan TV mode should you set your software to? We're using PD120. So any questions or any comments about this picture? Is KP from D.
AE6JG.
Okay, yes, go ahead, James.
My computer's working. What you just described is very cool. I didn't fully understand it, but I'm just so impressed. So thanks for explaining that and sharing that, Carol. AE6JG.
Okay, yeah, very good. Yes, we're using mode PD120, Papa Delta 120. And we've got quite a large group of people here, so we need to get to the next one on the list here, because we're going a little over time. N6HA, Bill, are you ready to send your picture over?
Roger that. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to send it Oh, it changed on me. I'm going to send it Martin to N6HA.
Oops, Jen, KI1TTY, did you receive the picture and what? Any comments on it? Over.
KB4ND, KI1TY. Okay, so it looks like an NOVNA on the right, with his lettering down at the bottom in green and very large N6HA at the top. And it looks like a keyer maybe on the left, and a breadboard in the middle with 9 volts, and some kind of a antenna hookup. I don't know what that is at the top. Oh no, this is, yeah, antenna hookup testing. Some cabling in the background and something blue, I'm not quite sure it was. Maybe it's the handle of a screwdriver on the right-hand side, and something round and dark on the left underneath the N6. And I've got some pixel pops, yellows, and mostly a little red and blue. Back to net.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. I'm going to give a hint. I think this has to do with a project that the DIY Radio Homemade Radio group is working on. James, A6JG, did you have any comments on this picture? Over.
Well, it looks like that's a nano VNA being used to analyze some sort of kit project that's being powered by a 9-volt battery. It may be a Morse code key on the left there, J38 or 39 or something. Interested to hear what's being built. The quality of the picture is pretty good. It's a little fuzzy, pixel pops on the top. Back to you, AE6JG.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Well, why don't you fill us in, Bill, on what you're doing there, N6HA. Go ahead.
Thanks, Carol. Yeah, it was a good hit. This is the DIY radio, the Pixie kit on a breadboard. I finished it mostly when we were at the meeting. I just had to hook a few wires up. I got home and tested it and put on the Tiny SA spectrum analyzer, and you can see the sawtooth. So it is not in spec at all. So I think I need to stare at my bandpass filter, or that's just the way it's made. So yeah, not fit for use on the air. Yeah, that is my straight key on the left, and the knob, the VFO knob for my HF radio. And yeah, it was a fun project. I might try to get it on the perf board next, solder it down, and see how that goes. But anyways, N6HA, back to that.
Yeah, thank you very much. I could see, looks like you have a little attenuator on the input to your Tiny SA. Yeah, the construction of Tiny SA looks a lot like a nano VNA, but it's actually a spectrum analyzer So it what it does analyzes the spectrum of the signal you're applying on the input there. So you have that little attenuator on there to cut down the level of signal going into your tiny SA. And I see one big blip on the left, which would be your fundamental. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going out to the fifth harmonic, measuring all of those harmonics. And yeah, the Pixie is not a super clean transmitter, as anybody could tell. Do we have any other questions or comments about this picture?
N6YG.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, George.
See if we can get through this without hacking. I do have a question on the attenuator and how many dB of attenuation he has there. Wonder if he might not be overloading the front end of the SA, transmitting directly into it. So I was going to recommend trying it a slightly different way with a dummy load, and you can make a really good signal tap using like an SO239 T connector, and you take the center pin and cut that off flush on that T connector, and then you attach your transmitter to one end of the straight through, your dummy load to the other, and your test equipment to the male side, and that's good for about 60 dB of attenuation.
Roger, that's great advice. The first one, the big one, is 40 dB attenuation at 10 watts, gives a 10 watts load. And then there's actually another one in there that you can't quite see. That is it's a 2 watt attenuator between the big black one and the actual tiny SA. That's a 30 dB 2 watt rated one. So all in all, I have 70 dB of attenuation. And then the cable gives me like about 1. So when I set the level, I set it to -71 to get the actual value. So I'm probably not overloading the front end, but I can't do more than like a handheld with this setup. N6HA.
All right, back to net N6YG.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is a very nice demonstration of the use of your tiny spectrum analyzer for checking the purity of the emissions from that homebrew Pixie project that you're working on. Next, Jen, are you ready to send a picture? KI1TTY.
This is KI1TTY. Let me see if I can get a tone first. Did you get a tone?
A negative, no tone, and not even, you didn't even key the repeater. Yeah, okay, that worked.
Okay, copy. I'm going to send robot 72.
Yeah, nothing's coming through.
This is KI1TTY. I cut it off. Something doesn't seem to be right with my signaling.
Okay, yeah, let's just, since we're a little over time, let's just go down to the next here. James, last in line. If you have a picture, why don't you go ahead and send it now. A6JG KP from D.
just check for tone.
Yep, that was good. Go ahead.
Okay, PD 120.
Okay, thank you for that picture. We're going to go over to Bill, N6HA. How did you copy that, and what do you think it is? Over.
Yeah, good copy here. Very few pixel pops. There's a horizontal line where the ID got you a little bit at the top fourth there, but overall very good copy here. Yeah, that looks like some kind of ship, warship maybe. And it's not in the water. What's it doing out on the ground? Even the anchor's not even in the water. So that's pretty cool that they dry docked it like that, and they probably could do a tour on it. So I don't know what kind of ship it is or where it's at, but it looks like it'd be a cool museum, and you wouldn't get seasick when you visited it. So I'm wondering where this is at. N6HA, back to that.
Okay, Jen, did you receive this picture, and how did you receive it? What do you think it is? Over.
I think he was in Southern California, so maybe this is one of the dry dock ships down there. And it looks like from Second World War. It's got a gunship on it. I've got one line across the top, and maybe one other pixel pop. Otherwise, looks good. Back to net.
Okay, I really need to make a confession. That line across the top was I coughed and I had neglected to mute my microphone, so it keyed my Vox, and it'll be obvious when you play the video. You'll see what happened. But yeah, tell us what the picture is, please, James. Over.
All right, well, this is obviously a ship that is in concrete, not even in dry dock. This is stationed at Liberty Station in San Diego. It is a ship called the USS Recruit. It's a 2/3 scale model of a destroyer escort that was used to train 50,000 recruits annually on basic naval procedure. It's the only surviving ship like this, and it's the only ship that never made it to the water. So it was commissioned, but it never made it to the water. Break. It was decommissioned on March 7th, 1967, when it could not be classified in a computerized naval inventory. Eventually, a group of folks came together and turned it into a State Department Parks and Rec ship. So you can't go on it, but it's there, and you can just walk by it when you're going to go to dinner. Back to net, AE6JG.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Very unique. Any comments or feedback on this picture before we continue? Okay, I'm going to go back. Jen, do you think you're ready to send a picture, or shall we just call it a night?
For me, call it a night. Thanks so much.
Okay, yeah. Well, don't hesitate to come back. We'd love to see some of the pictures you brought from Japan. I really would love to do that if you can get in over the next week. That would be awesome. I know we're really late here, but George, if you want to do the honors, you could send the final picture as you usually do. Over.
Thank you, Carol. I have one lined up here. N6YG.
Okay, thank you for a very fitting closing picture there, George. I want to thank everyone also who participated in tonight's SlowScan TV Net. This is Carol, Kilopop for Mike Delta. And we hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific Time. The net is now officially closed, and the time now is 10:21 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. This is Carol, Kilopop for Mike Delta, wishing you all a very good evening, 73, and good night.
Thanks, Carol, for running the net KI1TTY. I may shoot an image out just to test here in a minute if folks are hanging around.
I'll hang around.
Software up and running. N6YG.
It's my sound settings. I haven't done this in a couple months, probably. And I noticed I was having an issue with FT8. I'm resetting up my FT8 too, so give me a second here.
There was tone.
Copy that. Let's see if it'll actually do it without spazzing out. So, James, what do you think?
I see it. DEK1 something something. Yeah, I see it. And it's a really good copy. Very clear, actually. High quality.
Great. Yeah, I had cut down the picture size just for Robot 72, so at least it's coming through. Maybe my FT8 session right after this, I'm going to try 5 minutes of FT8 just to make sure that my settings are right. So thank you very much. Good job on the net and working out backyard, and I'm so glad the wind's gone because it was really getting cranky out here.
Yeah, it came over real well. Only a few pixel pops, by the way. And but your levels are real low. I mean, you can increase your levels by like 50%.
Copied that. I ramped them down just to see if that was part of the problem too. Thanks, George. Hope you're feeling better.
I'm surprised how well it came over for how low the level was, so that's interesting.
Superior radio and antenna, I'm sure. All right, well, thanks so much, you guys. This is KI1TTY. Saying good night to you. I'm going to move over to FT8 for a few minutes and then go to bed. Hope you have a great week, and we'll catch you later. This is KI1TTY.